Good afternoon, everybody. My name is DePriest. I'm the president of EPB. I'd just like to say on behalf of all of the folks here at EPB that our hearts really go out to all of the people who've lost their homes, to the families who have suffered injuries or in some cases who had the death of a loved one. We feel for those folks, and we're going to be working hard to get the power back on for everybody. I want to give you a little bit of a sense of what we're dealing with. Basically, our region has just experienced the most violent and widespread and prolonged series of storms in EPB's 76 years of history. I've worked here at EPB for 40 years myself, and I've never seen anything as severe as this in terms of either the extent of the damage or the intensity of the damage. So this has really been a very, very difficult storm. The typical damage that we're seeing is what you would expect to see in high winds. We're seeing massive trees, huge trees, that are going down, breaking wires and breaking poles. One of the ways that we measure a storm is by the number of broken poles. That gives you a sense of how much damage has occurred. In this storm, to date, we know that we've had 119,000 homes and businesses without power. That's almost 2/3 of our system. And today we have counted 146 broken poles. That number will go up. It may even double. It's early in the storm. We'll be finding broken poles for the next several days. But 146 we've already found. By comparison, the blizzard in '93, which until today was the worst storm we'd ever experienced, we had 74,000 homes and businesses without power, and we had 89 broken poles. That took us 8 days of hard work to put the power back on. We expect, and frankly, the only frame of reference we have, that's the worst storm until today. This is much worse. So we expect it to take longer than those 8 days. We can't really tell you today. What's going to happen is we've got people out all over the system measuring the damage, reporting in the damage, and we have a lot of crews on their way. As we know more, we'll be able to tell you and give you much better information. Let me see. Yeah, I need to make this point. Because of the widespread nature of the damage, basically anything from about midway up in Mississippi and Alabama all the way up into Tennessee has been affected by this storm. And all that really means to us is that it's more difficult for us to get crews, because in a lot of cases the crews are tied up in the existing communities that they serve. And what that means is we had to reach further afield. But we have reached out and brought in all of the crews that we can get a hold of. We have today crews on hand or on the way into here from Indiana, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Ohio, Missouri, North and South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Mississippi, Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, and I'm not quite sure how, but we've got people coming from Massachusetts. That's we've reached out pretty far. We have today 570 people out in the field working as we speak. The last biggest storm we ever ran, we had 468 people, so we already have 100 people more in the field. We have 300 more crews, not crews, but 300 more line workers on the way today. And we expect to get another 150 to 200 people. So in the end, we will be having at least 1,000 people working in the field. Now, I want everybody to understand this. As long as we can manage the people in the field, our philosophy is if we can get twice as many people in the field and get your power back on in half the time, we're going to do it. It won't cost a lot more at all, and it just works better for everybody. So we will work as large a contingent in the field as we can possibly handle. I told you that we would understand more about the extent of the storm probably by this evening or very possibly by tomorrow morning. And at that time, we'll also have a better understanding of exactly how many crews we can get coming in. This is a numbers game. It's how much damage do you have in how many locations, and how many crews can you get to put on those locations. So we'll know that by this evening or by tomorrow morning, and we'll give you a little bit better information. we want to tell people to be very, very careful out there. Even if it's windy, this is a pretty day, the kids are going to want to go outside and play. Don't let them go outside if there are trees down, or in particular if there are wires out there. There's a tendency to assume those wires are not energized. We don't know that. Until we get there and we can fix them, treat any down wire as though it were alive, meaning as though it was energized and extremely dangerous, and stay away from it. And finally, I would say this to you. We know that you're uncomfortable. We know that you're frustrated. We know that this is a difficult time. And we are doing all that we can to get your power back on as quickly as we can and let your lives get back to normal. But again, I want to say that we really extend our sympathies to those people who have lost their homes, and to those families who have experienced the injury or death of a loved one. Our hearts go out to you. We will do everything we can to get your power back on as quickly as we can. Thank you.